Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Doskvol Dandies. I am your host and game master, Code Marvelous, or Dan, and I am joined by the Dandies themselves here for another score for their quickly growing gang. Let's go around and reintroduce our players and our characters. Oh, I've got to update Emrys. But yeah, why don't we start with Aaron, and we'll go and we'll introduce everybody.
Hi guys, I'm Aaron. I'm playing Jonas Pennington. He is a whisper, an adept speaker of ghosts. Well, somewhat adept depending on, how lucky I am any day of the week, which is generally bad.
Ferdy, you want to go next?
Me? I'm Bird. I'm playing Diami. She's a hound, and she's probably the only competent member of the team.
Where's the lie? Yeah.
Only because I'm in prison.
I'm Simon. I'm playing Dolbin, a.k.a. Bluefoot. For our little gang of spies, I'm basically Q-Branch.
Nice.
I make gadgets, alchemy, that sort of thing.
And Emrys?
Instead of the normal character, today I am playing Butch, who is a slide. So I am a subtle manipulator and a spy, as it were.
So, Butch is a new addition to our team. Would you mind very briefly speaking about what happened to Abernathy and what mechanisms in the game allowed this transition, this personal metamorphosis that you've undergone?
Certainly. So, as our scores go off, the gang accumulates heat and wanted level, which means people are more likely to pay attention to us. The bluecoats are more likely to come down on us. The only way for that to get rid of is for someone to go to jail. So, having leveled up his playbook, Abernathy got the ability Jailbird, which allows him to be in jail for less and do more while inside, or be in jail for less time. So he voluntarily turned himself in to be in jail, and of course, one of our rooks, Butch, stepped up to his place for this particular score.
All right. So, you guys have just come off some big action. The last mission, you guys murdered a spirit warden.
Yes.
I thought that was 2 ago. I thought our last mission was getting the gold across town.
Oh no, that's true. The last mission that you did was smuggling that gold across town.
And to be fair, we didn't really murder a spirit warden. We provided poison, and he is the one who imbibed the poison.
That's true. He made a personal choice.
It was really a kind of suicide, if you think about it.
I mean, they say alcohol is a poison. Well, I mean, we just added another one to it. What's the harm?
That's true. Oh, all right. So Baldur's with us now as a co-GM. So, what kind of job were you and the gang interested in doing? Let's take a look. Let's go over here. Let's take a look at the sheet for the team. And let's think about what we want to do. So here we've got the crew. I really wish that Roll20 let me make this screen bigger. But you guys are a weak tier 1 gang. So you're getting there. You have the informants, the infirmary, and the covert drops. So you've got some good upgrades here. So what kind of job are we looking for? If you're wanting to know what's going on otherwise in the city right now, there has been some moving and shaking. In the time since you guys did the gold heist, the red sashes have been completely put down to a level 0 gang.
Oh, good. We didn't like them anyway.
And the lamp blacks are now in a dominant position above even the crows in Crow's Foot. And the crows have made an unlikely alliance with the Dimmer sisters.
Dimmer sisters?
Yeah. Who have been providing esoteric magics and strange, unlikely catastrophes to aid the crows in defense of their territory. So, what you should read from that is that the crows are also on the way down, the lampblacks are on the way up, and as far as things that are going down right now, who in this gang, if we could travel back in time all the way to the first session, one of the things that we discussed is that your initial territory was provided by the or your guild, your upgrades were provided by the inspectors.
Right.
Yes.
So who in this group do you think would have brokered that deal?
Abernathy.
Abernathy.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So, a fine envelope arrives by special post to your
Like to our hideout?
To your abandoned hideout, and a satchel is left hanging on the doorknob of your hideout, which no one is supposed to know where it is. And you guys are actually in Crow's Foot, right?
In Crow's Foot, and there are plenty of
Yes.
people who know where we are.
Yeah. Well, not that many. And it is a letter addressed to the friends and cohorts of one Abernathy. What was your last name? Regulus. Regulus. Abernathy.
Haverford. Abernathy Regulus Haverford.
Yes, that.
Abernathy et al.
Yeah, Abernathy Regulus Haverford. So it's addressed to the three of you. I imagine any one of you would grab it and open it up. And it is a letter from Chief Inspector Jeffrey McMaster. And he has heard word all the way in Brightstone of Abernathy's misfortune and imprisonment in Ironhook Prison. And he's concerned that the four of you and your gang have lost your way and don't understand the gravity of your debt to the inspectors and the protection they've been providing from both the Bluecoats and the inspectors. And he'd like to see a return on that investment as a show of good faith with Abernathy's imprisonment in Iron Hook. He has an opportunity for you that he would also like you to meet with him to discuss, or meet his agent to discuss at your convenience.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Another thing that's going on right now at this time is that there's currently a new madman on the loose, or a lot of his enemies are calling him that. Let me find this dude. Come on.
As an angry or crazy?
Can't it be both?
What was in the satchel?
Just the missive.
Okay.
And also, there's a dossier that looks like copies, like drafted copies, of a bunch of evidence about your gang.
Oh.
That's exactly what I need. More terror in my life.
Oh,
Does it make us seem cool?
yeah. Somewhat. So, Ulf Ironborn has been making a lot of waves. So, he works down by the docks, and, which is the adjacent district to where you are. And he already has a bloody reputation. He's been carving out territory from other gangs with brute force, collecting them under his banner by killing off their lieutenants and say, hey, you're with me now, or else.
Okay.
And he's carved out a huge chunk of territory in the docks. He's gone from being a tier 0 to being a weak tier 2 in just a few months. The whispers are that he could end up being a threat to any of the South Side organizations soon, while others say, there's no way that he can maintain this pace, and eventually he's going to collapse under his own brutal tactics. So, I'd also like to take this opportunity before we just jump into the next mission tonight to give people an opportunity to ask questions about what's going on in the world or try to establish things in fiction that they want to have as follow-up to what they've been doing. For example, Aaron and his bookworm friend that he's been trying to court/manipulate, and also his arcane research, etc. So why don't we start with you, Aaron?
So ask a question. Let's see. I don't know. Let's see. What has she and I been up to? So this doesn't really count as like downtime activity, right? It's just something outside of that.
Correct. Yeah. We're just trying to establish a little bit more about what's going on.
Oh, boy. Well, if I'm just going to add to the narrative without actually accomplishing anything, my gut reaction is that she and I have been spending a lot of time kind of canoodling deep in the stacks, not necessarily getting a lot done, but
Canoodling, is that the
Canoodling.
Is that the official term?
That's what Pennington would say.
Bring him up. Okay, I'll bring him up.
All right. So, what about you, Birdie? What have you been up to?
She's still messed up from like more and more people being able to recognize them, and now they had a bad run-in with big strong man when she was by herself, even though she's the one that found, in fiction we've established that she's the one that found the whole crew, and instead she got separated from the crew, and now Abernathy's in jail. So she's just been laying low, and the reason I'm going to say that the reason that Jonas hasn't been bringing the girl to our place and instead has been canoodling in the stacks is because I hollered at him for bringing home so many strays.
Well, also you don't bring your girlfriend to the headquarters of your secret criminal organization.
Doing your showing off.
I don't know if Jonas is necessarily the kind of character that cares. I feel like if you're the kind of person who talks to ghosts for a living, you're probably more concerned about safety than you are about showing off. I don't know. You can decide that for yourself, Jonas.
Are you going to establish that for his character? Because remember, he also told the other guy that he could come crash at our place.
That's true, but that was a different situation. You guys needed to save that guy so he could give you information. You had to save him from himself.
And as I recall, I was the one that stood watch over him, so...
Alright, so you're just kind of lying low with everything that's happened. The gang's grown by a lot, but there's been reverberations against the gang. What about you, Bluefoot?
I'm wondering if I can use my goat drugs to bet on racing.
So you wanna try to do goat racing, like fixing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to figure out if I can use this to sort of fix the goat races.
Okay, so why don't you roll me a fortune roll with 2 dice, 1 for normal and 1 for you using your drugs to fix the race.
Where is? I feel like there's a place to click for fortune rolls.
There's a button right towards the bottom right-hand corner of the sheets.
Be under your deadly friends.
Yeah, right under your friends, but above your clocks.
Got it. So roll 2.
Yes. Rip.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that didn't really work.
Oh no, it worked. You fixed the races just fine.
Oh man.
So add 1 coin to your sheet.
You know, the way you said it worked just fine.
So you have a major complication that comes as a side effect of this because you rolled a 1 and a 2, my dude.
Yep.
So the major complication is that you're approached by a very large man and his 2 only slightly smaller friends who, as you're clutching your winning tickets and like in line for the cash out at the goat racing track, they just kind of pluck you by the shoulder and take you out into the back alley, and they're gonna say, "Boy, you got 10 out of 10 right. No one's that lucky."
I'm not lucky, I'm smart.
Can't be that smart. Got found out by a couple of idiots like us. Or
It's not really a street smart. It's not really a street smart, fellas.
Obviously. So here's what I think you're gonna do. Those winnings, those are yours. Those are small fish. What I need you to do is I need you to do whatever you just did at the Grand
Oh shit.
Cup in 2 weeks. There's a goat. His name is I need a goat name.
Billy?
Yeah, his name is One-Horned Joe.
Man.
He needs to win the race next week. We're going to have myself and several of my business associates are going to clean this house out. Now, goat better come in first, or we'll extract our winnings from you instead.
I understand.
And he's going to say, and don't you think about running off neither. So he's going to take out this manacle, but it's only like one piece of a manacle and no chain. Though the little one link where it would connect to a chain is there, like the half a link. He snaps it onto your wrist, and you see a bunch of blue runes briefly flicker to life on that bracelet. And he holds up the other one, and he says, "You go running too far. I can destroy this one, and it'll take your hand right with it.
Jesus.
But I use my hand.
That's the idea, my friend, and all you've got to do is use your hands to make sure that One-Horn Joe wins the race next week. I'm rich. My friends are rich. You get to keep both your hands. Everybody's a winner.
How would I clap with only one hand?
That would be fashionable.
Well, I imagine you wouldn't probably have much use for applause. It's also worth noting that this guy, you recognize him.
Okay.
He's not to be trifled with. Can't remember which guy I decided I was going to make. I was waiting for somebody to gamble and try to cheat. I've actually had this little interaction set up for a long time.
Well, then I'm glad that I've given you an opportunity to bring out just sort of arch fixer.
Yeah, no problem.
Dan got a gift.
I did.
So that's what I was doing.
Alrighty, so
this is killing me that I can't. Oh, that's what it was. This is Slate. So Slate is the leader of a bunch of thieves and traffickers known as the Wraiths. They're
Okay.
a pretty big fish in the town and like the second story business. If you guys get to like tier 2, tier 3, they're your main competition. They're the most notable citywide criminal enterprise. Mostly light-handed stuff, right? They're not smash and grab. They run book on people.
And what's this guy's name?
Slate. Like the stone.
Slate.
And they're the race?
Yeah.
That's not cool.
And he's going to say, I look forward to seeing you around, my friend. And, what's your name?
Bluefoot.
Ah!
All right, then. I'm Slate, but you probably already knew that. So, I'll be seeing you next week. I'll send one of my, boys around here the day before. You better, show up, place a couple bets. That'll be the sign of good faith. So that's a clock for you.
Yep.
You're gonna have to. We'll say it's a 6 tick project clock. The Grand Cup has significantly higher security on it. So if you want to get performance enhancing drugs to these goats, you're going to have to work a lot harder to get it in there. You might actually have to bring in members of the crew in order to actually get this done. But we could talk about that later. Or you could turn it into a score later or now. So, Butch, you're new to the gang. Talk to us a little bit about your introduction to the gang.
well, I figure that since we're kind of going with the theme, our rooks increase in size as we tier up. So I figure perhaps me and my sister Cassidy knew our 2 previous rooks and kind of got brought into the family business, as it were.
Okay. So explain how you're being introduced as a leading member of the gang. What did you do that set you apart that you're now part of the leadership team?
That's a good question. Didn't we use our contacts for help getting into the cult of ecstasy to help. Maybe I was the one who actually got the was the go-between to get the invitations.
That's fine.
So I actually stepped up to the plate, as it were.
All right. So I think what we're going to need to do. So you're another one of the you came out of the Rooks group that the gang has, right?
Correct.
So I think the job that we're going to do tonight needs to be something related to you joining the gang. I think that would make the most sense. What do you guys think?
Makes sense to me.
Well,
Yeah.
I also had a great idea for kind of a background interaction related to Abernathy, if I'm allowed to suggest that.
Sure.
So, if I remember correctly, to do the assassination that we did, I kind of got the, or Abernathy kind of got the invitation through Madame Teslin on the condition that I not let the brothel know about it at all, or not implicate the brothel at all. I think it would be interesting if we actually did a really good job and some members of the Cult of Ecstasy are not comfortable where they were and are trying to convert the Red Lamp to a new temple that more members can feel safe at.
Okay. Yeah,
Just
I like that.
as kind of a background thing.
Yeah. So do we want to put a clock on the crew sheet for that?
I'm not sure if, yeah, I don't know how we want to handle that. If that wants to be one of the background faction type deals going on.
Yeah.
Just to kind of change the landscape rather than something we do directly, because the whole point was for us to stay out of it and not get involved.
Yeah, that's something I can add, though, to what we're currently doing. I like that a lot. Okay, so I think that you found, on the heels of the information that you got to help them kill the Iron Shield, you also have a lead on a really good job. Something that'll really pay some big bucks and should be pretty simple.
Should cement my role as one of the major people in the gang.
Absolutely. So, I think that you've got a lead on something pretty valuable that's going to be added into a private, curated museum. What kind of item do you think that the gang would be interested in stealing for either bragging rights or money?
I think that our gang would be interested in stealing. I think it would be neat to have a set of statues, but each one made out of a matching gem or matching jewel that matches the colors that supposedly flashed across the sky back when there was a sun.
Okay. So
bragging rights, mostly.
You're stealing them mostly for bragging rights. So let me roll on a couple charts and see who has these. Yeah, I think I like that a lot. So, the exhibition is being put on by the university itself, but the actual statues are on loan from the Aruvian consulate. They're being held at a museum in Brightstone, the most high end of districts. are going to be put on prominent display in the gallery of the Shining... Well, actually, the Blue Sky Gallery. It's a gallery, as you say, completely dedicated to old world relics and a bit of nostalgia. You know, there are rumors abound that some of the relics that they have on prominent display are fakes, and fabrications, but who's to know the difference? And people enjoy believing in the world that was, even though none for, many generations can remember it.
Now, here's the question for the group. Do we think it would be wonderful if at the big reveal, when they're supposed to be shown off and the thing's shown off for the first time, it's empty? Or do we want to take it while they're on display?
I say if they show it off and it'd be empty, that would be amazing.
I'm going to say...
Are you okay? Are you okay, Birdie?
I'm trying to wrap my head around what we're doing, but I'm laughing.
Although it's much more complicated, if we're doing this for bragging rights, it seems like stealing it in plain sight is the way to get bragging rights.
I mean, that hasn't really been our style though. Like we're that's not our crew. We don't go for flash. We go for stealth. So I think as shadows, it's more on brand to like, oh, they were there a couple seconds ago. Like, I put them there this morning, and when we raised the curtain, oh shit, where are they?
So yeah, more of a mystique.
Fair enough.
More of a mystique. You could still go for that dramatic reveal where they pull back the curtain and they're not there. You're just saying you don't want to broadcast that it was you, except for in like criminal circles, maybe.
What if we go a
spread the
step
rumors
further?
yourself, but leave no proof.
What if we put like a cardboard cutout, and then when they open the curtain, it falls over and it looks like a cardboard cutout?
Why don't you do your illusion thing?
It looks like they just faked it.
Right.
But we have the real ones.
Yeah, I mean, you guys can do all of that. So I would say that what's going to happen is, even though this is a standard score, which would mean it would be 6 coin, it's going to get dropped down to 4 coin, but I'm going to add 2 additional rep if you manage to complete the job as you described, where you manage to steal the items completely unaware and have that dramatic reveal, and it will increase the rep that you gain from it. Does that sound fair?
Sounds good to me.
Since we've already established that these are not terribly valuable except for as antiques, right? They're not made out of any like precious material.
Yeah.
And remember, if Pawn Stars has taught me anything, it's that something's only valuable if people are willing to pay you for it.
Priceless is the same thing as worthless.
That's right. All right. So let's pick a plan of attack. So I'm assuming we're going to go on a stealth mission.
Yes.
Is that fair to say?
Sounds
Seems
right
right to me, yeah.
So what is the detail? What is the point of infiltration? Butch, you are the person who got this job. What is the point of infiltration?
Well, it so happens that the public display is just the first. There's a private display beforehand, so I was found out about the private display.
Oh, you mean like a private viewing?
Yeah, like for the people who dropped it off and all, to see that it's actually there and safe.
Yeah, and for like big donators to the museum. They get to see it first.
So I found out where and when that is, so that after it's been viewed and showed to the big private donators, then we snatch it up. So they know it's there, but the public gets hoodwinked.
Okay, so is the point of entry you being at this event and sticking around, or you arriving immediately afterwards?
I think the point of entry is me being there and then sticking around afterwards.
Okay, so do me a favor. Roll. You're going to get to roll the engagement roll.
Alrighty. So, let's go through the advantages, disadvantages. Is it particularly bold or daring for an extra die?
Sure. This is pretty bold. The people who back this museum are terrifying.
Alrighty, so we're going to go to roll fortune. Number of dice, 1 for the engagement, 1 because it's bold. I'm kind of the contact providing aid, so I'm going to guess we don't get any extra dice for friends or contacts providing insight.
Well, does anybody have a contact that they think would be appropriate for a job of this kind? Excuse me.
No.
I only have my bounty hunter.
I don't think my spirit tracker's going to be super useful in this
I've got a
context.
corpse thief.
And does the gang have one, though? Because I know the gang has their own contact as well as the people. We have... At least I thought we did. Maybe not.
Our gang. We have Amancio, a deal broker. If you think offense.
Yeah? Go ahead and roll it. 3 dice. You know a fence that's dealt with this museum in the past, and he's able to get you, Butch, a invitation to this private viewing.
Lovely. Rolling fortune, 3 dice.
Yep.
Double 6.
Yay!
So you are in a controlled position at the start of the job. So the party is filtering out. You know, Brightstone is so named because it still has the... As clean as Doskvol gets. Marble and bright red stones of, proper construction, not the ancient wood, old brick, and black stone of the other districts. This museum is especially fine, as it is built out of an old mansion belonging to one of the ancient families who donated it to be a living gallery of relics of the old world. You commiserate, socialize, make some contacts with well-to-do and underhanded members of Doskvol's high society equally, and you manage to stay inside by basically... Well, where do you stash yourself when they're locking up the house?
Obviously, in the restroom.
Okay. So you're basically going to get really quiet in the bathroom and just wait for them to lock up and leave you behind?
Yes.
All right, so that's where we're in. The night watchman for the gallery has locked everything up and left for the night. The door is heavy reinforced wood, with iron bars, and all the windows are, locked and sealed, strong paned glass. So he locks you inside the building, and that's where we start. Let's do loadouts.
I believe I would likely have a light load because I'm not there to I'm there to talk, not to advertise that I'm there. But I would probably be wearing the fine clothes and jewelry that I could take as part of the kit to fit in.
Okay. Jonas?
I would probably go with normal load.
Okay. Birdie?
Coming in heavy. Just in case. Since we're showing up after, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm coming in heavy.
Okay. Bluefoot?
I'm coming in heavy because I figure that there'll probably be a lot of stuff for me to do in terms of setting up this big reveal that we want to do.
Okay. All right. So, what's the approach, Butch, that you would have worked with the party? Are you gonna just like let them in the door, or what's the plan?
The front door somewhere in Brightstone would probably be very well guarded. There's probably not well guarded, but well lit. There's probably a servant's entrance or a dumbwaiter or something that they could sneak in through.
Okay.
Well, if role-playing games have taught me anything, it's that the sewers go everywhere.
Well, I mean, heck, I hid out in the John. Of course they do.
I don't think you're gonna fit up through the toilet, though.
Oh, well.
You don't know his life. He could be that bendy.
So what are we doing?
Well, I suppose I would be heading towards the probably heading towards the kitchens, because there would be a lot of servants' entrances around the kitchens, and if this is a large university museum, there's got to be some place to prep all of the myriad hors d'oeuvres.
Okay.
I mean, there's probably a loading dock. And if the night watchman has locked up and gone home...
Can you do me a favor, Butch?
Sure thing.
Can you roll prowl for me?
Sure thing. And I am, as always, in real life, a stress junkie. So, well, actually, no, I'm not going to do that. I am going to roll prowl from a controlled position with standard effect and no bonus dice.
All right. So from a controlled position, that is, you do it, but just nothing notable happens, right?
I think that would be a 6. I think there may be a minor complication as appropriate, or perhaps a reduced effect. Like perhaps I don't get all the way I'm prowling to before something else comes up.
It's a minor complication. Okay. So, you are walking through the house, and, this house is made of actual, natural fibers, wood, not stone. And, you're being very, very quiet, moving, much like a cat through the house. And a floorboard just kind of creaks under your foot as you're heading through the kitchen towards the service door. And you hear 2 boards creak on an upper floor. Like someone's standing up.
Well, they are old buildings. I'm sure they would creak from time to time. So I will simply stop and see if I hear any more creaks from the person perhaps moving off. And if I do, I can walk in time with them so they won't hear my creaks over their own.
Okay. So what is everybody else doing? Are you guys just all waiting out back?
Yeah, we're waiting to be let in.
Okay.
I don't think we're waiting, right there, though. We're probably, across, and it,
Yeah, you're not just, waiting under a street lamp by the back door. You're, in an alley waiting to dart across the street into the door.
Yes.
Okay. So, Butch, roll finesse.
Alrighty. Finesse! Whoa, I did not mean to take the dot away. I wanted to roll it. Controlled, standard effect. Now I'll use the stress for bonus die because I'm the stress junkie.
Okay.
Bonus dice 1.
What's Butch's vice?
Okay, so
Ha-ha.
tell me what happens.
Nice.
So what happens is I hear the 2 creaks, and then I hear about 3 or 4 more, like somebody going and walking towards a door, and then I hear nothing for about 2 or 3 minutes, and then I hear a couple creaks back, and one more big one as whoever it is apparently flops onto a bed or a couch or similar.
Okay. So you're going to let everybody in?
Yes.
All right, so you are now inside of the house. Now, the statues, or were they were statues, right?
Yes.
Like decorative statues?
Yeah, I figure each one's probably about the size of my hand.
Yeah,
But
so
like a full set of 7 of them.
so they have already been installed inside of a protective glass case that's like built into a podium that's, you know, built into the floor and attached to the floor because, you know, they're not idiots. So, and that is in the main gallery on the 2nd floor. Down here is a lot of the kind of the ordinary fare. A lot of the more curated things are up on the 2nd floor where there's the larger rooms built out of the old bedrooms and studies where they can set up like distinct, what is the word I'm looking for? Displays.
Vice?
So it's on the 2nd floor. You know exactly where it is because of your great engagement roll. Now this house, it's worth noting once everybody gets inside, especially Jonas, like and Bluefoot probably, your like creeper vision is like going crazy for 2 different reasons. Jonas, the amount of like vibration, like spectral vibrations you're getting off of this house is incredible. And you can't tell if it's a presence here or if it's the items in the house or some combination of the 2.
Okay.
And Bluefoot, you've noticed just from walking through the doorway and passing through, as someone who has proven himself to be a student of architecture, that this house is not made out of standard materials. There's something amiss about the building itself, the way that it's laid out. You immediately start to notice like symmetry patterns and like stonework laid into the walls that is thoughtful but not like anything that you've seen.
Can I go ahead and make a study roll to try to discern, try to find what the pattern is? Like, I see that something is unusual about it, and so I notice something. Can I try to figure out or gain insight into?
Yeah, sure.
So, are we still in controlled position?
As of right now, yes.
Or a standard effect?
These rolls. So tell me what you discover.
Oh. I think that what we discover is this was formerly not a mansion as previously thought. What the public story is, this one in fact was a temple.
I like that. Okay. Yeah, so
this is a temple to something old and something forgotten and not spoken of in public.
I like that.
So we found the Freemason temple.
That's maybe like the friendliest case scenario here.
Okay. So we'll leave more information to that. Assuming you guys do a little bit more digging around the house. So in the meantime, you've noticed that this building might predate the district itself as it is known now. There's been, new floors Bluefoot put down, but it's covering the bones of like marble and like conductive stonework meant to create like a geometric pattern, like what we would modernly call like a Faraday cage type of deal, to basically be able to collect and harness spiritual energy.
Okay.
Jonas, do you want to do anything attune?
Yeah, I have a gut feeling here, so let's go ahead and let's see. What does my spirit mask do again?
I don't know. You picked it.
Well, it's one of my special items. Basically increase some. Okay. Lets me see supernatural energy is easier. So I'll go ahead and tick that item and go ahead and put it on and see what I see when I attune.
Okay. Open up that wizard site for me, baby. So we'll say that gives you an extra die.
+1. Yes. There you go.
I'm glad it wasn't me.
So you open up your wizard site, and there are a lot of ghosts in here.
Okay.
And they're all wearing the same getup. They're all wearing... well, first of all, they're all either young women or young men in their early teen years, and they're all wearing like these white tunics, and in the center of their chests there's a gaping hole, and there's just like a burning red like sun pattern in their dried blood on their tunics. And when you put on the mask and attune to them, you just notice that they're basically everywhere in here, and several of them are already just kind of caressing Butch's form, and just like you could see little wisps of his energy coming off of his body and nourishing and brightening them.
I'm sure it's fine.
Oh boy.
Nothing to worry about.
Oh, so I think somebody just followed. But yeah.
Do I understand whether or not there's anything I can do about it? Like to try and stop them? Or is it just seems like something that's outside of my control?
Well, that's up for you to decide with an actual pointed attune roll. Because remember, you can command ghosts with attune.
I can.
You can do whatever you like, my friend.
Yes. Does it seem to be having any... All right, let me ask a different question. Does it seem to be having any noticeable effect on Butch at this point or not yet?
He doesn't seem to notice it at all.
Great. So I'm going to walk up. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to walk up to Butch, and I'm going to hand him a little stone. I'm going to say, Butch, I think you need to hold on to this for a little while. And that little stone is a demonic bane. It kind of causes ghosts and things to try to avoid its presence.
Okay, how long does your spectral sight last? Does it say specifically?
It doesn't, no.
Okay, so the ghosts pull away from him and be as if repulsed and disgusted by the smell of him. And do me a favor.
Sure.
Can you roll a tune roll?
Another tune roll.
Yeah. This time from a risky position.
Still using my mask bonus?
Yeah. Okay. So you're able to give out little warding stones to all of the other members of the party.
Okay.
As you do so, as you turn away from Bluefoot, let's say, and then begin to say, all right, then let's carry on. You see at point blank range, one of the spirits makes eye contact with you. Their face, and they rush forward at a great speed. Their face twisted into a mask of agony and fear. And you, my friend.
Oh boy.
Have a buddy.
Have a new buddy?
You have a new buddy riding shotgun with you inside that noggin.
It's starting to get a little crowded in here.
How many more before his name officially changes to Legion?
Jesus, right?
Jonas picks up all the strays.
Well, you still haven't gotten rid of the other one, right?
No, I haven't.
Oh, so you've got a countdown to becoming a vampire, too.
Yes, I do.
Oh, shit.
Okay. So, this one, we'll come back to it. So, Daimi and Bluefoot and Butch, Jonas just stops talking and just kind of like stares off into space for a little while. And with everything that's been going on with you guys like walking back and forth inside the kitchen, you hear floorboards creaking upstairs again, moving towards the stairs to you.
Well, maybe we want to see about making a group prowl or something to attempt to hide away.
That's something you could do. Who would like to lead such a role?
Well, I have one in prowl, so I can volunteer if nobody else has more.
I don't think anybody has more than one in prowl in this group.
I only have one as well.
You guys are surprisingly not sneaky for sneaker people.
Well, we're sneaky in different ways. Like, we talk our way in, and then we do stuff while supposedly nobody is around. But that just kind of didn't work.
So who wants to roll the master roll and take the stress for the 1s and 2s and 3s?
Well, this is my sort of plan and my score, so it only makes sense to step up and try to put the best foot forward. I'll do it.
Does it make sense?
I think it would probably make the most sense for Daimi to do it as the hound.
At this point, I'm stepping up and going, okay, this was your job to scope out if we're here and somebody's still in the building. The last time everyone tried to come in, the last time we tried to sneak through a building, everybody pretty much fell down the fucking stairs.
All right, so
you don't sound
I
bitter
will
at all.
do the graceful bow thing as you wish.
So you roll first, Birdie. You roll your prowl. Now, do you have any...
Come on, are we still controlled?
No.
Come on. No bonus dice?
Nope. Or make a case for a bonus die, and I'll happily give you one.
I don't have one. Oh, fuck. I'm gonna bang into like the pots hanging over the center island.
Well, remember it's as a group. You have
So-
one highest die roll for everyone. You're just gonna take stress for each one that's less than 3. All right, who wants to go next?
I'll do it. All I can say is, I less than 3 you, Birdie.
Uh-huh.
Ah.
You're very clever. Points in dad joke for you.
Another
Ha-ha.
2, so that's gonna be some more stress for you.
Yeah, eat another one, smartass.
More for you to deal with, the better. I do what I can.
Simon?
Yeah, hold on. Actually, hold on. I just realized I want to do a bonus die because I have my quiet oil.
Okay, so
Oh, he does.
roll 2 dice.
Well, again.
Your quiet oil.
Standard bonus die.
That still won't take the blue off your feet.
Hey!
Oh, good.
Okay, and then Jonas?
Let's try not to max out Birdie's stress and traumatize her some more.
No,
My
it's not
dad joke was enough.
I got plenty of room.
Oh.
Rip.
All
Alright,
fire.
so 1, 2, 3 people got 3 or less. So what's the stress multiplier on that? It's 2 per?
1 per.
Alright, so give yourself 3 stress. You guys do succeed with a complication. So you're moving through the house, trying to Scooby-Doo ignore whoever's in the house with you. And you end up moving through and basically getting like moved into a corner of the house, farther from where you need to be, and where there's a more limited mobility and access to doorways to the upstairs. And another thing that's notable is that it doesn't really seem like the house is as big on the inside as it should be for how big the house's foundation is on the outside. Like, there's space that's not accounted for. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We can feel the secret passage behind us.
No. It's more like you started moving through the entire first floor, and you're like, well, if the house is this big, why is this room this small?
It's like, shouldn't there be 30 more feet before that window?
Mm.
That
Oh, no.
kind. The house is very peculiarly constructed, shall we say. So, let's go over what the mission objectives are, or the score objectives. You guys need to steal the statues, steal them in a way where they won't know, ideally, that they're gone before the display tomorrow. We still haven't had anyone use a flashback. And you also need to extract yourself without being seen or recognized.
Right.
And there is someone in this house with you. And a whole shitload of ghosts. Oh, speaking of which, you're feeling a little unsettled. You're very queasy in your stomach. And
Just me?
Yep.
All of us?
That
Oh.
young boy who leaped on you earlier in the kitchen, you see him basically slide out of your form onto the floor, and he's still a ghost, but it looks like he's retching as he just like dry heaves and collapses and just kind of like disappears into the ether. That other ghost that you have riding shotgun with you was way too powerful for him and forced him out.
Awesome. That would be Jessica, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
She's the one that died at the...
Yeah, she's the one that's trying to make me into a vampire thing.
Yeah, she's the one that died at the Church of Ecstasy.
Right. I haven't figured out what's going on with her yet. That's encouraging. I only got one extra head in my head.
Oh, so I have a crazy idea for a flashback that'll also wind up hitting one of my background things.
Okay. Hit me.
So I'm thinking that my background is that I was a footman, a gopher, butler type deal. That's how I got interested in mingling with the people I kept serving and whatnot. But I keep talking to them because, the footmen pretty much, they do everything. They have to know where everything is. So maybe when I was finding out about this party, I could have bribed one of the footmen to know, where the keys for this type of case are. And fortunately, they happen to be nearby where we are.
Okay, so that's a 2 stress flashback, and then do I would say that's consort.
Okay. Risky, standard, go. Oh well.
So the keys for a lot of the displays get kept at another location. However, he is willing to unlock it for you. However, he would like you to steal another object for him and provide it to him after the fact as payment.
Tell me about it.
Well, what do you think a guy who runs like grounds at a place like this, what kind of odd item would he fancy? I have an idea, but I want to see what you come up with. Or anyone. Remember, other people can jump in with permission on other people's flashbacks.
For an idea on an item he wants, sure, I'll take some hints as well. I'm thinking maybe he wants something like an old-fashioned antique wash basin or something. To finally, wash his hands on top of everybody else's silver niceties.
Anybody? Bridget, if you're talking, I can't hear you.
If he's...
My boy came home and asked me a question.
If
Go ahead, Aaron.
If he's the kind of guy that isn't trying to get out of his job, but maybe make himself look like he's just absolutely killing his job without actually working any harder. Maybe like first thing that comes to mind is the little necklace thing that Hermione has in Harry Potter. What's it called? The time spinner thing? Time Turner. Thank you. That kind of lets him, do more all at once without actually having to spend a lot more time doing it.
Okay.
It looks like it's a trinket. And it looks trivial, but it really gives him a leg up and makes him look like he's really kick ass at his job.
Okay.
Something like that would probably be a little bit above the pay grade of this area, though.
Possibly.
Hey, Nate.
So I'm going to say my suggestion, which nobody has to take, is that there's some sort of fertility statue that's in here that he fancies because he thinks it'll return his youthful vigor.
Okay.
and he's just kind of fascinated with this totem.
Especially, I actually like that one, especially because we found out this place was a temple. So maybe while he's been going around serving his plattering trades and sweeping up after the rich people, maybe they've been kind of maybe it was something that was actually part of this religion, and the ghosts have been pushing him towards it.
In keeping with what Emra said earlier, maybe it can be like a font of some kind, like a baptismal font or something.
Okay. Or it can be like a silver pitcher of water, like to put sacred water into.
That's styled kind of like the fertility goddess, almost like the prow of a ship with the water coming out over.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, so you got to steal that too.
Okay.
So now
But now
you have the keys. Now that item is not under lock and key. That item is just sitting on a pedestal in the main area. It's one of the display pieces in the center of the house. All right, so you guys tell me what you're doing. You're in this house. Somebody's in here with you, kind of following you around the house. They haven't raised any alarms or yelled out who goes there or anything like that.
Does it actually sound like they're following us, or are they just kind of walking around above us?
They've moved down to the first floor.
Oh, okay.
And you guys are kind of like Scooby-Doo, moving from room to room, trying to avoid them catching up to you. But someone is in here with you, who's an actual living being that can creak floorboards. In addition to the plethora of ghosts that are following you around in here.
Can I? What's the layout of the house like? Like, is it linear, or is it one of those houses where like I could realistically circle back around? If we're Scooby-Dooing, can I circle back around behind us and use like a hunt roll or something to make noise in a different part of the house so that he goes over there and my cohorts can get upstairs?
You could. Roll it.
Woohoo!
And then tell me what happens.
I need to use the restroom while this happens.
Risky. Standard.
How's it going, Birdie?
I'm looking at my items and trying to find a justification for a bonus die, but I'm not finding anything.
I mean, you could use your burglary supplies.
I have burglary gear, but like, what am I? Are they gonna have like a marble I can roll down a hallway?
Why not?
Okay. Oh, where'd my thing go? Risky, standard. I get one bonus die?
Correct. What's the scoop, Fruit Loop?
Okay.
So you did it.
I did it.
So the complication I'm gonna have it be is that you succeed, right? You're able to basically move in a practiced way, and you're able to basically kind of anticipate to kind of lead them away from the rest of the party towards one of the gallery rooms on the first floor that contains a bunch of old world, like, landscape paintings of the pre-broken world. Ancient at this point. Faded, right?
Okay.
But you get your wish. You move into the room, and you have just a second to kind of settle yourself and scan the room before the person who is in the building with you enters from the opposite side of the room through the door.
Does he see me, or can I like hide behind one of the? It's only paintings. There's no displays in this one.
No, and there's like furniture and stuff for people to sit down and observe the paintings. Like there's like 4 couches in the middle, put back to back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you don't have time to really prepare yourself. And a humanoid figure steps through the other door.
Humanoid?
Yeah, she's tall and graceful, and she has dark purple skin, orange eyes, and two perfectly symmetrical and almost like antelope horns coming out of the top of her head, and long flowing black hair that drags behind her like a cape. And otherwise, she's stark naked. And she just kind of makes eye contact with you and smiles and says, well, I was hungry.
Oh, great.
And she smiles a big, toothy smile, and you'll notice that every one of her teeth comes to a point like a canine would, or like an eye tooth would. Except for her actual canines are just longer than the other ones.
Oh, great.
That sounds like an obligate carnivore.
Thank you, Simon. I couldn't tell. Can I just shoot her?
You certainly can.
Oh dear.
Oh, what do I want to use though?
The world is your oyster, my dear.
You did come loaded for bear.
I did. So I'm going to use my pistols, my fine pair of pistols that I have. And would my electroplasmic ammunition that I have be that's for ghosts, right?
Yep. I mean, you could try it here. Okay, you would be freaking the fuck out.
Absolutely.
Because you were in the presence of a demon.
Yeah, absolutely. But, like, I'm not going to run.
And she lives here. Like, this is clearly her house. Hey, go ahead. Go ahead and try to shoot her. That's what you said you would do.
Right,
Try
that is
it.
what the character would do.
You're gonna be like, oh, fuck me, and just, like, raise your pistol and shoot her.
As a skirmish, right?
Yep.
You know,
it's like Indiana Jones. The guy's coming at him with the sword. You're just like...
it is fight or flight.
Where do I have to run? Back towards you guys? At least with a gunshot, you guys know something's up.
Well, we'll pour one out for you.
We'll pour one out for you.
Pretty much. Do I get a bonus die because I'm using gear or just no?
You get... I can't remember. You get a bonus for your fine pair of pistols.
Okay. So I have one die. Stop it.
Yes, and you have less effect. So it's already reduced effects, so it's it was already being brought down to standard. Now it's being brought down to limited effect because of your scared to death harm. Because you're just like freaking the fuck out and your hand is shaking.
Pretty much.
What do your pistols look like, by the way? Are they just like flintlocks?
No, they're the only dainty thing she has. Oh, fuck.
Oh, Jesus.
My pearly pistols backfire in my face.
Wait, you have no skirmish?
No, I have no skirmish.
Okay. So you shoot the shot, and it
Is shooting skirmish?
I believe so, isn't it?
Wouldn't it be finesse? I mean, I don't know if she has that either, but...
Oh, yeah, close combat. Yeah, go ahead and roll finesse instead.
Really? That doesn't make any sense.
It's hand-eye coordination.
Okay.
I'm tired.
Risky, limited, 1, Roll them bones.
You still rolled shit. So
it was fated that you roll like ass.
so tell me what happens as far as your shot's concerned, and then I'll tell you what the potential complication is.
I'm definitely gonna hit a priceless painting.
Seems right.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. There goes that rep.
Wait a minute.
People are definitely going to know that we were here. And it goes wide. It goes right over her damn shoulder. Like, doesn't even whip her hair.
Okay. Okay.
And then can I run?
Well, no, I get to give you a complication of some kind. I'm trying to decide what kind of... I'm trying to think of what would be a good idea for me to do, a consequence.
Downgrade the position to desperate. If anything warrants it, I think that does.
Yeah, so the position is now desperate.
Great.
Sorry, guys.
And it's a serious complication. So I'm going to say that the position is now desperate, and she just basically charges across the room. Now that she's actually putting her body in motion, she makes no sound as she strikes across the room in a few effortless strides and just bats both of your guns out of your hands. They go flying against the walls and they shatter.
Wow.
As she just smashes them out of your hands. And she says, "You would dare try to harm me, insect?" And she's like, her voice is just like booming in your ears. And you guys hear those shots, by the way. She pops off 2 shots. And then you hear somebody yelling very loudly. And the sound of crashing. So, Bluefoot, what are you doing?
Me? I guess we should... I think that we should consider abandoning this score and exfiltrating as quickly and casualty-free as we can. Let's try to extricate our comrade from peril. And then, we might take a hit to our rep, but...
There's a literal demon here.
Yeah.
And Butch, I know you arranged the score, but...
I didn't know there was a demon here, bud.
Yeah, you have bad intel.
I think that this might be one where we just take the loss.
Okay. So you're going to articulate that?
Any disagreement?
Well, yeah. Everybody except for Birdie can weigh in on this.
Yeah, so...
I'm going to assume that Birdie is a yes vote on extract from peril.
I mean, given what we know, I think some of us should go help Birdie, and Simon, you go finish making the swap.
Yeah.
If anyone's going to be able to...
Might be a person.
What's that?
I said, you guys don't necessarily know that it's a
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
That's my thought. I mean, I would think that we would try and divide and conquer at this point. 1 or 2 of us go help Birdie, and then let Simon go finish off the swap, since he's the one that's more likely to be able to succeed in doing it.
Okay, I'll try to tech something.
I mean, that's my thought. I mean, Butch, what do you think?
No, I mean, what you said makes perfect sense. we don't know it's a demon. We know it was something crazy enough for Birdie to shoot at night in this stealth score. So she needs help, and we should go, send the person most capable to nab the stuff, especially because it's already unlocked, and go see if we can help. Besides, It might be somebody we could frame for failing to do it.
Correct.
Oh God.
Also, when she's on top of you, well, not on top of you, but like right up in your face, you're pretty tall, right?
Who, me?
Yeah, your character.
No, I'm average.
Okay.
I'm average in every way.
She's like 6'2".
Yeah, and at this point, like, Dimey's probably trying to walk it back. Like, I didn't see you. I couldn't tell what you were. Like, I thought you were a person. Like, because she's babbling at this point, not making it.
Just
I feel
like this.
I thought I was murdering a normal person.
I mean, a demon's not going to care about you murdering a normal person.
Right?
She understands. She understands that compulsion all too well.
I didn't see. I'm sorry.
So who's going to go to try to help Dimey?
I think both of us. That's what I was getting, right, Jonas?
Yeah, I figured I would go and you would go. Unless for some reason you want to go help Simon.
He got this.
All right, then I suggest we both go then.
Okay. So you guys enter the room right as this demon is basically lifting Birdie up by the neck and just kind of casually holding her up with one hand off the ground. And she turns and looks at you and shoots the two of you a similar look to the one that she shot Dimey when she first caught eyes on her. And she was just like, look at these two delicious morsels. And you guys were stupid enough to break in here. Well, I guess there will be plenty of room downstairs for all three of you.
I'm sure there's some sort of compromise we can come to here.
And she just does like the Tim Curry demon laugh, where she's just like, I don't think you understand the position that you're in.
Oh, okay. I suppose it would be balls to the walls time.
Also, again, like, this is not like an erotic situation, but she's just like perfectly jacked and like completely naked. Just like got your only real fighter type person up off the ground like she doesn't weigh anything.
And butt ass naked.
Yeah, what does she care? This is her house.
Right.
And the one that recognized that this is a dead god's house is not in the room to explain to us
why this is a terrible idea.
Yeah.
So she starts whispering and speaking in a language that only Jonas understands.
Oh, man.
And what she is saying roughly translates to, my children, close the temple. Keep our sacrifices here. And you'll notice on all of the windows and things, all of the latches and things start getting bent and misshapen so that they can't be moved.
Awesome.
Alrighty. I think it's time to tell the biggest whopper that ever whopped. So, my whole thing is lying. That's what I do.
Hang on one second. I want to... Bluefoot, you are still moving forward with the job, right?
Yep.
So you're heading upstairs, and you're gonna make the swap for like the cardboard cutouts or like the false statues that you probably made out of just like terracotta and some paint. I don't know.
It should look like a 4-year-old drew it.
I was going to do a thing with like a prism where it would basically capture the image of them.
You want to make like a projector?
Basically, yeah.
Okay. You want to do a flashback for that?
That was my idea, yeah. Should I take a stress for that?
Yeah.
So mad.
And then go ahead and roll your Tinker.
So it's for the flashback, so it's just a risky or is it desperate?
It's risky. Okay, you do it. So you're able to create the items. And the minor complication is that you get so mixed up in the artistry that it might take you a little bit more money to create these items. You can either take stress and frantically try to complete them without the additional materials, or you can spend a coin to be able to make it without taking stress.
I'll spend the coin. You know, I got it by fixing races, so easy come, easy go.
Okay. So you've done that, and you've made the swap. You now have them in, like, your backpack, or whatever you brought to carry them, right? Wrapped up in, like, towels and blankets so that they don't knock together. And you head down the stairs, and you now hear more shouting from the room. We'll jump back to what Butch was doing.
Alrighty. So I'm going to try to tell her a huge whopper. So give me a devil's bargain, because I'm going to take it. And I'm going to take 2 stress for another die.
Okay.
Do you want me to tell you what the lie is first?
Can you tell me what kind of, like, bullshit you're going to try to spin here?
Of course. I'm going to tell her that with the recent member of the Demon Hunters dead, they suspected there was activity here, and we were recruited. So she needs to leave us alone and use the head start to hide before a whole bunch of the Demon Hunters start coming to clean out one in revenge. And that's why she shot with the electric charges, to help alert them, because those things are especially potent in a ghost field. So she can either try to eat us and definitely get killed, or she can start trying to run and hide for the pros to come and mop the floor with her.
Nice.
Okay, give me a second.
Can I add to this? Can I help him in some way?
Yeah, tell me how you help him. I don't tell you what your character is capable of.
All right.
You tell me.
I have an item that is an unusual weapon. Is there? What would the demon hunters use? Could I have, like, lifted one while I was at that party?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
Do the demon hunters have unusual weapons that they use against the demons? And can I, like, pop one out of my pocket and, like, throw it at her feet?
No. He wouldn't have kept his, like, ceremonial sword at a sex dungeon.
Well, what if I just have one?
Okay, sure. Do a 2 stress flashback.
Awesome. I'm going to do a loadout of an unusual weapon, 2 stress flashback of I beat one up and take his.
Okay, that's going to add 2 heat to this job. Regardless of whether it's successful or not.
I'm fucking
right. Aaron's face just being like, ooh.
Down we go.
Alrighty. Jonas, you got some way to help bullshit this too? Some sort of arcane signal you can throw out that she'd be able to see?
Yes. It's also going to cause me stress and a flashback. So
I'm going to offer you offer you a devil's bargain, Butch.
Bring it. More dice. No. This is a desperate position. There's a literal demon in front of us. I will take a deal with the devil for another die to try to get this thing off.
Okay. So you are going to... The devil's bargain is she just starts laughing when you start swinging this bullshit. She's like, the spirit wardens, that is what you threatened me with? I have been on this spot eating the youth of your pitiful species since before this building was built, before this city of pitiful humans even came to these shores. And you'd think that one of your petty cops, barely with a child's understanding of the arcane, could threaten me? No. I'll tell you what. Devote yourself to me, and I will spare your lives. Your life for your friends.
That sounds more like what would happen after I failed the roll than a devil's bargain to get an extra die, to be honest.
Whoa.
I'm sorry, but
she's not going to kill you. She's offering you the opportunity to prove that you can protect her. But go ahead. We'll give you the bonus. If you take this die, it adds an element of risk onto this roll.
you know what? Then I think I'm actually going to wind up refusing swearing myself to the demon regardless of how the roll goes.
Okay, that's fine. So roll the roll.
Alrighty. So I get a die from Die Me, and I get a die from spending 2 stress, and I'm in a... So wait. Desperate, submit. Effect, standard, presumably. Bonus dice, 2. Alright, let's do this. Whopper of Whoppers, don't fail me now. I know exactly what I want to have happen.
Okay.
I want her to snarl. I want her to wing Daimi at me as hard as she can and, like, just take us both to the ground in a pile of broken bones and just, like, vanish.
So what I'm going to say happens is that she whips Daimi into you like a rag doll, and you both take 2 harm because you both break a limb as you just smash into each other and fly against the wall.
Nice. And we take another painting down as we go.
Yeah. And she is going to snarl at you. And she's going to say, I can smell their stink on you. If you've led them here or to any of my... Oh, she wouldn't say siblings. If you've led them to any of my kin, I will find you out, and I will eat that pitiful body of yours. Leave now. My children will be watching.
Can I say that it's at this very moment that I pop in the door and I say, hey guys, what did I miss?
That would be perfect.
Perfect.
My children will be watching. If you speak the name of this house, if you lead any of those those servants of the light to this house, I will find you and I will destroy you slowly, painfully, like a savored meal. Do you understand?
Of course.
Every fucking word.
I will not speak a word of this.
Okay.
Shit.
She's going to throw you out of the house. And the score is successful.
We got it, but it's obvious shit happened in there.
It's obvious that shit happened in there, but you can't talk about the job even in rumors.
Yeah.
So you guys only gain the 4 coin. You do not gain any rep because you can't talk about the job at all. Or you can.
Well, what I'm thinking is, we swore we wouldn't speak. Somebody should drop an anonymous missive off with the with the spirit ward.
Yeah, you know what's the funny thing is demons are more about the interpretation of the law, less the letter.
Oh, I'm thinking of devils, aren't I? Oh well.
Well, we're also not playing D&D.
Yeah.
All right.
Instead of a vessel.
So you guys got 4 coin. Are you guys gonna put that straight into the vault?
How much space do we have left in the vault?
That's
12. A lot.
We have a
Because
bunch
you guys just got
leveled up.
just got wiped out from leveling up.
Right. I'm good with putting it in the vault.
All right,
Let's
so
hold this.
that's 4 into the vault.
Oh my goodness.
No rep. 2 heat.
Oof.
But also, no permanent cat. Nobody got eaten by a demon.
Yeah, there's that. That's a bonus.
But you know, she's got her children following you. And also, there's things that I've been working on using the book. So she's something that I've invented, like a whole holdover from the old world that you guys can investigate or not. If somebody wants to make note of her, she will also leave you her name. Her name is Saraxi, or Saraxi would probably be a better pronunciation.
If you dare whisper the name of Sir Roxy to the spirit wardens, I will end you.
Basically. So now we're-
Saraxi, hungry demon.
well,
Naked, hungry demon.
well, she's not naked all the time.
I don't know that.
Presumably not also hungry all the time, but
Who knows? There's a lot of dead kids in there.
Yes, there were a lot of
but
them.
it's been a while, so
Okay.
What's her name?
What, the other demon, Alexandra?
Yeah, didn't we make friends with one?
I don't know that friends is the
You
right
made
word.
her as a limited use contact in the future because she was very pleased with the work that you had done.
Do I need to reach out to our friend and...
Well, we're going to do downtime activities next. This is a nice segue. So, let's talk about downtime activities. Why don't we start with you, Jonas?
Well, I need to spend my downtime activities working on my issues with Jessica.
Okay. How are you going to accomplish getting her out of you?
And
Getting her to rest?
Getting her to rest. So, I am going to first do some study and see what kind of histories I can find out about that physical building, the Church of Ecstasy, whatever kind of stuff is buried in the archive somewhere.
Okay, so that's going to be a long-term project. Let's say it's four ticks. And then you want to roll that for me?
Yeah. Church of Ecstasy. 4 ticks.
Yep.
Bloop. I think I'm doing this right.
Nice. So I believe the 6 is 3 ticks. So
Okay.
Had you have any stress?
I do have stress, yes.
But you don't have any trauma, correct?
I also have trauma.
Okay. So you have to indulge
No,
your
all right.
vice.
Sorry, I don't have any trauma. I have harm. Sorry, let me
Yeah.
rephrase.
So you don't have to engage your vice. You can try to study again to finish the clock.
Which I will do.
If you have a trauma, you can't ignore your vice if you have stress.
Yeah, pretty much you take more stress if you don't indulge it.
All right,
Right.
so you complete the clock. So tell me what happened to her.
So, the church was, like so many of the other buildings apparently in this city, wasn't originally a church. It was more like an altar that was demolished and buried over years and years and years and years ago, well before anybody really has any real memory of it. she was actually a virgin sacrifice on said altar to, one of the old gods.
I'm assuming not willing.
No, not willing at all. So, yeah, she was strung up and bled viciously into the altar, and the people that were worshiping whatever god it was, drank of her blood, and that's why she was stuck there.
Okay. So, I am going to say that the way that you're able to actually put her to rest is by finding the place where they just piled up deep underneath the church in the catacombs and sewers, all of the bones. You have no idea which ones are hers. So you basically have to spend a bunch of time and effort consecrating, and then you basically doing the normal things where you're scattering the ectoplasmic energy and basically wiping out all of the ghosts that occupy that structure.
That was the wrong button.
It's okay. So that's... You also misspelled ecstasy, but it's okay. You said ecstasy.
Yeah, well, spelling was never my strong point.
All right, so let's also do your experience while we're here. Let's look at your sheet.
All right.
What do you think?
So I used Arcane, or Attune, and, well, I guess Downtime doesn't count, to look at the ghosts and then spread out some stuff to help protect my guys.
So I'd say you used Arcane Power, so you're going to get...
Yep. 1 for that.
Yep.
I didn't make any desperate rolls.
I don't think you expressed your beliefs, drives, or background, and you didn't struggle with your vice or trauma.
Nope.
But that is enough. If you want to delete all those, you do get an advancement.
So what does that do? Is that a new special ability? How does that work? I haven't done this yet.
So when you do playbook advancement, you get to pick a new special ability.
Okay.
I believe that's right. Correct, Emerus?
Yes.
So you now get a new special ability off that list.
Okay. All right, I'm going to have to read through these and figure something out.
All right. So why don't we move on? Who would like to go next on downtime and EXP?
I'll go.
All right. Tell me what the deal is.
I'm going to try to start making progress towards a plan for fixing the Grand Cup.
Okay.
And I'm thinking maybe next week or when we next gather, maybe we can do that as a score.
That seems reasonable. So why don't we do so you're just looking for an infiltration point. So why don't we do a 4-tick clock where you're looking for like a weakness in the security around the stables for the cup. Now, let's also keep in mind that this can be accomplished a couple of different ways. You can either performingly enhance one Horn Joe enough that he wins no matter how good the other ones are, or you can reduce their effectiveness in some manner, or a combination of the two.
Okay.
But I'm just making you aware. So, how are you going to approach trying to get this information?
Information about how to sort of infiltrate the stables?
Yeah.
Or
just like, there's so many options. You could like learn about where they get their feed from, or whether or not they're all put under like the care of one caretaker to keep things fair going up to the race, etc.
I'm gonna study the sort of the trainers, the handlers.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a study. Okay, so tell me what you find.
Okay, I find that each racer has their own trainer or their own handler.
Like a coach type deal?
Yeah. Who sort of, during the week puts them through their paces and then leaves them in the care of the stable hands who are sort of vetted by the
league.
Gotodrome.
Gotodrome, I like that.
Yeah. The Gotodrome sort of overnight or where they're not being trained. So that, the points of approach would be either while the other goats, while the goats are out being trained, or while they're in the stables at night.
Okay. So that's one piece of legwork. Or one piece of down type activities.
Yeah.
Also, make note of that towards this ongoing project that you're doing for Slate.
Yep. I have the 6-tick clock for the Grand Cup, and then the 4-tick clock for the stables.
Yeah, to be able to find a weakness in the stables, and you've moved 3 on that with that 6.
So I moved 3 on the stables one?
Yeah, the 4-tick one, correct.
Okay.
So what do you want to do with your other downtime activity? Do you have trauma?
I don't have trauma. I'm at, 5 stress, so I'm at...
You're not great. You're not terrible. You're not terrible, but you're not great.
Yeah. I think for my other downtime, I'm going to train... I'm going to train prowess.
Okay. How are you going to just...
I'm going to train prowess by sort of doing physical conditioning.
So you mean prowl or a finesse?
Prowess generally, like it.
Oh, prowess, yeah. So you're just going to work on, like, physical conditioning?
Yeah.
Perfect. Gonna do some calisthenics,
Yeah, basically.
Alright. Perfect. Alright, who would like to go next?
I can.
Alright, what are you doing, Dimey?
Dimey, I was working on changing my vice. How do I roll to advance that clock?
So,
Oh, shit.
It's okay.
Did I do it?
No, you just highlighted the item.
Okay.
It's okay.
It made a noise.
I think we were doing a just a fortune roll on that one.
Okay.
It would almost make sense to roll your vice for it.
I mean, I can do that too.
Yeah, I mean, you could indulge. Didn't we already go through changing your vice last game?
No.
We put in some more work towards the clock, but it's a 6-tick clock, and she hasn't rolled super well on it.
All right, so roll fortune, or roll your. Roll your vice. So you rolled a 2.
Womp womp.
So you do clear some stress. How much stress did you have?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
So go ahead and remove 2 from that. I will say when you get one more tick as you're getting more and more frustrated with your family and more fed up, you find less and less relief from pleasing them and making them happy. All right, what are you doing with your other downtime activity?
I got to work on my healing.
Okay, so go ahead and roll it. 1d6.
Oh, right. One other unpleasant thing is that whenever you suffer harm, you clear any ticks currently on your healing clock.
Yeah. So it's cleared. It's okay. You'll survive, probably. So the 3 is 1 tick.
Yippee.
These are exciting
Now,
times that we live in.
Would she get a bonus die from the infirmary?
Oh, right. You guys have the infirmary now. So roll the die one more time.
Aha. I forgot we took that. Scroll up, bitch.
See, I don't just give bad news. I also sometimes give good reminders.
And that's 2 ticks, so that's 3.
Back to where I was. Hamlin. All right, as far as advancements.
Nope, that's it. You get 2 downtime activities.
No, for like experience and all.
Yeah.
Oh, experience.
Oh,
right.
I also did not do experience.
Yes. Let's do Birdie real quick, and then we'll double back on Bluefoot. All right. So you did roll a desperate roll, so you get 1 for that. Did you mark that? Ow, ow, ow.
No, does anyone remember which one it was?
It was finesse, I think.
Yeah, because it was the shot under the risky position.
Okay. So I did that. Does it count as 2 things that I addressed with tracking and violence? Because I tried to lead her away.
No, but I will say you did that once.
Okay.
And then you also struggled with your vice or trauma because you engaged your paranoia. Paranoia. That's the word I'm looking for.
By shooting a fucking demon.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
It's gonna get me! Just because it's gonna get you doesn't mean you can't think it's gonna get you.
That's true.
Just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they aren't out to get you.
That's true. So, Bluefoot, let's do your EXP real quick.
Okay.
I don't think you rolled any desperate rolls.
Nope, because the main one was in a flashback. Was the only one that was during our desperate thing, but that was in the past.
Yep.
I used technical skill to...
Definitely. Yep.
Don't know that I did much expression of beliefs or background.
Yeah, I think that's one we need to try to... Balder. We need to work on a little bit more just campaign-wide, and that's why I'm trying to flesh out the world a little bit. Because, we kind of just jumped into the system with characters that we thought were interesting, but we didn't haven't really fleshed out our backstories very much. So that is, homework that I'm going to give everybody, including myself, is try to really think about, the things on your sheet, read up in the book about those lore items related to, where you're from and your trade, and try to come up with more about what your character's about and jot down some of those things so that we have more opportunities to market EXP for beliefs, drives, heritage, and background, okay?
Okay.
And then, I don't think you struggle with vice or traumas from this session.
I would agree.
But I will say that you get the 2 EXP because you did use technical expertise twice. Once for your fabrication and another one for the application of quiet oil.
Good point.
All right. So
Yay.
that's you. And then I think only Emrys hasn't done downtime, right?
Correct. But I have a question. So I have pretty much, since my effective wanted level was 0, I was going to be having Abernathy get out after this. So do I do downtime for Butch and Abernathy? Does Abernathy get any? What goes on with that?
So Abernathy is not an active character, so I will say between now and the next session, you should figure out what jail type actions he's taking. Or do you already have those in mind?
We already did those with the incarceration roll at the end of last session, so it'll just be what.
Then he's not going to get any downtime activities because he's coming back next session.
Okay.
So let's talk about Butch, who's going to go back into the freezer, or maybe not.
Maybe not. Well, Butch is going to indulge his vice because he has a 6 stress, which is the perfect number because he can't overdo it.
It's true.
What is Butch's vice?
His vice is, I believe it was wealth or grandeur, one of the two. So he goes to Maestro Hellern's theater, and he commiserates with the people he routinely hoodwinks and watches people at the theater.
These dandies.
Yes.
And you remove 5 stress.
So I go from 6 back down to 1.
All right, and what are you going to do with your other downtime activity?
Let's look and see if there are any things that the guild itself is working on, because he doesn't have any activities. So let's go to the guild activities. Oh, sorry, the crew activities. What do we have? Narcs, returns guy from the bar, retribution. So I suppose what we might do is attempt to use some of his contacts to try to push back the warden retribution clock.
Okay.
I'm just trying to think of how. Just maybe the easiest way to do that would be to try to spread some sort of information, but what type? Maybe say that we were trying to get some our claws into some business with someone, or in an area where we don't have anything. Like I
mean, you can always just, it doesn't have to necessarily be something that's true or something that's provable. Yeah. You can just try to spread an effective rumor that he was actually dirty, which will decrease the degree to which the powers that be care about finding out who killed him.
Yeah, that sounds really good. That's what he would do. He would go try to spread the word that, he was in the Demon Killers, but did you know?
Yeah.
So let me go ahead and roll Sway. Risky, standard, no bonus dice. Go.
So that's 1 tick on the clock?
2. 4 to 5 is 2 ticks.
2 ticks on the clock.
So I'm trying to push it back because they're trying to find us. I'm trying to push back so that they don't care about finding us.
Yep. So go ahead and we'll mark the 2 ticks when you finish out that clock. It's no longer a looming threat if you do something related to the wardens.
Okay.
So we've got that done, and you did your stress. So that is the session for tonight. A kind of... Wait, go ahead.
My experience.
Your experience. So go ahead.
I would say I did a desperate action with the lying through my teeth to the demons. So that's 1 experience in resolve.
Yep.
I also addressed a challenge with deception right there. And funnily enough, given the homework that you did, I specifically went out of the way to address my background with trying to make one of the footmen one of my things because that's where I'm from. So would that count as a playbook advance for that too?
Yep, so that's 3.
2 playbook and 1 resolve, yes.
Correct, that's 3 total.
Yay.
All right, so everybody's done their EXP and their downtimes, yes? All right, everybody watching, thank you very much for tuning in. Tomorrow evening, I will be running a session 0 of a different Powered by the Apocalypse variant called Sprawl. Come check it out. It's going to be at our normal start time of 9 p.m. EDT. And have a good night, everyone. Thank you so much for watching.
Ah.
Have a good one.